back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today's video is going to be another weekly WW freestyle meal prep. This week we are going to be pretty quick in the kitchen. I don't have a lot of time and I'm keeping it super simple. That way it's easy to do and it's easy to stick to throughout the week. So one of the first things I'm going to be doing is working on some hard-boiled eggs, but I'm going to be making them in the air fryer, which is a little bit different for me. It was actually suggested by a longtime subscriber here. Her name is Bessie and she's always so kind and supportive, just like so many of you. So I'm really appreciative anytime that you have tips or tricks to send me so that I can meal prep more effectively. But before we get started, I do want to go ahead and say a big thank you to SKILLSHARE for partnering with me on this video. SKILLSHARE is an online learning community with more than 25,000 courses available in everything from design to business to meal prep and pretty much anything you can think of. It is a great source if you are intrigued by a certain topic, or if you're just looking to fuel your curiosity about something, or express your creativity, or even get help in your career. So pretty much anything that you're interested in, SKILLSHARE probably has a course that would be a good tool for you. I personally like it a lot because I've always liked to just learn about new things and I'm always trying to improve. I've already gone through multiple courses and I really like the ones that I've done so far. I've done some meal planning ones. There's one about overnight oats and there's one about chopping vegetables correctly, which I think we all know I could use. And I've also been trying to get better at my Spanish. I do know un poco español, so there's a course that I found on SKILLSHARE that has been absolutely awesome and just really a big help for me on that, and that one's probably my favorite right now. But aside from those, I'm also really excited to explore some of the other classes that I saved to my list. So they have classes like how to take the best pictures on your iPhone, stuff about filming, and I'm really excited to get into those in the future because I know that going through those classes will just be an asset to the knowledge that I'm building for this channel anyways, which will just make it even better for you guys. The premium membership gives you unlimited access, so that way you can join the classes and the communities that are just right for you. SKILLSHARE is also really affordable. An annual subscription is less than $10 a month. So you can join more than 7 million creators learning on SKILLSHARE by using the link in the description below. The first 500 of my subscribers who use that link will be given a 2-month free trial. So if it's something that sounds interesting to you, definitely don't forget to go down to that description and get more information through that link. All that being said, I do want to say thank you one more time to SKILLSHARE for partnering with me on this video, and let's go ahead and get into the meal prep. So first we're going to start with the air fryer boiled eggs. Now there are all kinds of different times and temperatures and everything online, so I'm just going to go with this one that I found on Pinterest, and it does say to let the eggs sit on the counter for about 10 minutes before you put them in the air fryer. I'm not sure what the purpose of that is, so if you know, please enlighten me in the comments. But I'm going to take 6 of these raw eggs and I'm going to turn the air fryer on to 300 degrees for 16 minutes. Now, of course, I already have a bowl of cold water in the refrigerator, and you want to have, you know, your ice bath just like you normally would. Now, for dinners this week, I'm going to be having vegetable soup, and this is a 0-point vegetable soup. It's one of my favorite things to prep, and I decided to just start crockpot season early, so let me know if you guys are with me on that. But I'm going to go ahead and spray this pan with some olive oil. I do like to cook my meat before I put it in the crock pot. It's not 100% necessary, but that's just something that I've always done. I'm adding in about a pound of 98% fat-free turkey breast so that it's 0 points. Now you could easily make this recipe vegetarian or even vegan, possibly by just not adding meat, but I do like to have meat in my soups. To this turkey, I'm gonna add some chopped onion. This is an entire onion. I decided to get a small vegetable chopper or just chopper, and it is from Toastmaster. I found it at the dollar store. This is my first time using it, so I may have pulverized the onion, but that's okay because we're all learning here. So this is just a mini chopper. I got one for my friend who is living in an RV now, and I thought it would be the perfect size for her, and I decided to try one out myself. It was super affordable. So I'm going to add this onion to the mixture. It definitely worked well. I think I just put too much in there and ended up pulverizing it for a little bit too long. But that's fine by me because we're just adding it in with the turkey. So I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, and then we're going to let this cook down. While all that is happening, like I said, I'm kind of in a rush today, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on breakfast. So I have a 9x13 cake pan here. I'm going to spray quite a bit of olive oil. Now I'm going to crack about 8 eggs in here. We're going to add some salt and pepper and just a splash of milk, not enough to add any points. And this is what I'm baking for my little breakfast sandwich. So once I get it in the oven, I'll show you what else goes into it. Now I'm going to throw this into the cold oven. I'm going to set it on 350, and in my oven, by the time it gets to 350, the eggs are usually done, so we will just check on it then. So the other stuff that you'll need for breakfast sandwiches is some 3-point English muffins. These are the Loven fresh ones from Aldi. Of course, there are some Thomas Light ones. I think there's even some 2-point ones, or you could make some with some 2-ingredient dough. But we'll be using these 3-point ones. For each sandwich, we will use 1 slice of the Jones Farm Canadian bacon, which is 0 points. So you can have 1 slice for 0 or 3 slices for 1. Then we'll also be adding 1 point for 1 slice of Velveeta cheese onto each sandwich. So all together, once we get it assembled and our eggs on there and everything, it will be a 4-point breakfast sandwich. They are very freezer friendly. They freeze perfectly. I like to put them in the freezer and then thaw them out the night before I'm gonna eat them. And then it only takes about a minute in the microwave. They reheat very nicely. Also, since there is more than just 6 slices in this pack, I'm going to incorporate the extra eggs and ham slices into some Olay wraps, and we'll make some breakfast wraps that freeze the same way, and they reheat preferably in the air fryer, which is awesome, but they can also be microwaved. Okay, I have my air fryer eggs out in an ice bath. I will say they look a little funny because my air fryer just constantly has like a brown glaze on it. I don't know, you know, we clean it. I don't know if that's supposed to happen, so the eggs have little brown polka dots on them. Hopefully they don't come out tasting weird. But now it's time to move on to the vegetable soup because the turkey is as done as I want it to be. It is pretty much done, but it can finish cooking in here. So the first thing we're gonna add is that turkey and onion mixture. I'm gonna add in 1 can of mixed vegetables. I completely forgot that there were potatoes in this, so I told you guys earlier that this is a 0-point vegetable soup, but it may not be. So I will scan this and figure it out and let you know. Those are the only potatoes in the recipe, so out of all the servings you get, I would hate to think that it would be more than 0 points. We've added a can of mixed vegetables, sweet peas, and whole kernel corn. I'm adding in 1 can of tomato sauce, and I'm gonna top it off with some beef broth. Okay, so I checked on the potatoes that are in this, and as long as I'm able to get 3 servings out of this, which, you know, definitely is like a good 6 servings, I would say, then they would be 1 point each. So technically I think it is still 0, but I'm gonna go ahead and count them as 1 point each just to be safe. But there's a very small amount of potatoes in there, and the serving size will probably be at least a cup. I probably won't know until this video is already uploaded, but I will try to update you in a pinned comment or in the description. So we're gonna go ahead and turn this on to low for 8 hours. I prefer to let my soups sit for a while If it looks like it needs more liquid, I will just add some more of this beef broth. Otherwise, it can just sit and I can forget about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that on, put the lid on, and then we will move on to our other stuff. So just a little bit about the boiled eggs in the air fryer. They are not peeling good for me, obviously. Also, they have kind of like a weird texture on the very outside when you first peel it. I got a little impatient, and so that's why it's peeled so badly. So maybe it was my ice bath or something. But the middle, I will say, is perfectly cooked to that hard boil that's not, you know, too bad to where it's overcooked and it's gray, and it's also not mushy. So the middle is perfect. Maybe I just did something wrong with the outside. Maybe I should have done a lower temperature, which is what Bessie suggested. She suggested 260, but I saw online 300, so I just went with that one. So I might try 260 next time. But if you guys make them in the air fryer, please leave in the comments how you do it, because this was a little bit of a time and effort saver for me, and the middle is awesome. But I just wanted to let you guys know how these turned out in case you haven't made them. I'm gonna be making my 2-point chocolate chip cookies again. I've made these twice before. You guys have seen them, and I've seen in a bunch of the WW Facebook groups people making them and everything, and everybody always has questions. Some people say that it's more than 2 points. To me, I just don't see it, so if I'm missing something, please put it in the comments so that I can be enlightened. I've never had a problem counting these as 2 points. It hasn't, you know, affected my weigh-in badly or anything. So what you're gonna need is a Betty Crocker chocolate chip cookie mix. This one is the 17.5 ounces container. You're also gonna need some unsweetened applesauce, which is 0 points. And you're gonna need 1 egg, which is 0 points. So that's all you have. Now when you scan this, 1 tablespoon of the mix, not counting the butter that you would normally add, is 2 points. So I substitute the 1/2 cup of butter for the 1/2 cup of applesauce, and I do the rest just as I normally would. Then we're gonna drop it into little spoonfuls, roughly about 1 tablespoon. That way they are 2 points each. To me, that makes sense. Some people just, you know, I've seen a few people say that it's wrong, so please try to explain it to me in the comments, because when I scan it, it's 2 points for 1 tablespoon of the mix, and I'm not adding any points besides what's in the mix with these ingredients. So that's how I see it, and that is how I count it. And I know a bunch of you guys really liked this recipe as well. They can come out a little bit cakey, but they taste exactly like regular chocolate chip cookies. So we're gonna dump that in. Into that, we're gonna add 1/2 cup of applesauce. Into that, we're gonna add 1 egg, and we're just gonna mix all that together. Now again, I'm gonna set this in the cold oven. I'm gonna set the oven to 350. Usually by the time the oven hits 350, these will be done. Now we're gonna get started on the breakfast sandwiches. So the first thing we're gonna do is get our English muffins out. I happen to have these cups that are exactly the size of these muffins. So I use this to cut out the eggs for the muffins. Now on the muffin, I'm gonna add a slice of the Canadian bacon, a piece of the egg, and 1 piece of Velveeta cheese. So we're gonna do that to each one of these. With the leftover egg, this is really good when you make your eggs like this, in my opinion. So I usually don't throw it out. I either eat it or make it into wraps instead. These are the Olay Extreme Wellness wraps. So they are actually only 1 point instead of the 3. And I will just take pieces of the egg. You really don't have to have a ton on these wraps because they are so thin. Then I'm gonna take a piece of the ham or Canadian bacon, and I'm also just gonna rip that up. I probably should have put the piece of cheese on there first. I've never made these with the Canadian bacon, but I'm sure it will be just as good. Normally I make them with just actual center cut bacon. These will only be 2 points, so that'll be my lowest breakfast wrap that I've ever made. Like I said, these do reheat very well in the air fryer. You can put them at 350 for about 2 or 3 minutes, and they are really, really good. So the first batch of cookies is done. I have them upside down. As you can see, they are a little bit more cakey, like I said. Also, they did stick a little bit. That was probably user error. But this is what they look like. They are a pretty good size, and pretty much all of them are about that same size. So, you know, pretty similar. This batch has 26 cookies total, so that's out of the whole bag. I have the rest of them in the oven right now. So there is that. I did kind of make a bigger one. It had no chocolate chips in it. It was just the end of the bowl. So that is that bigger one there. But it made 26 cookies, and they look and smell just as good as usual. So I'm sure they are really good, and these will be my 2-point cookies, and my husband really likes them too. So for me, that is a win-win. I may have accidentally burnt the other batch of cookies a little bit. So I'm not sure if these will be salvageable. The top of them still feels soft, but they're just sticking really bad. Cooper's going crazy because he just got a bath. But there are the rest of the cookies. Alright guys, so that is all the meal prep I'm going to be doing today. So I have 6 English muffins, 4 breakfast wraps. So altogether I have made 10 breakfasts. Like I said, these freeze very well. You can keep them in the freezer for up to 30 days. But of course, they do not last me that long. For lunches this week, I'm going to have sandwiches and leftovers from last week's meal prep that were in the freezer. I also came out with a big batch of 2-point chocolate chip cookies. I only lost a few of them due to being burned, so these turned out pretty good again. And then for dinners this week, we have our vegetable soup. So this will still be cooking for a while. So that is all I have for you guys today. I'm feeling super excited for the week ahead. Thank you guys so much for watching. As a reminder, you can use the Skillshare link in the description below. And the first 500 of you will get 2 months for free, and it's definitely something worth checking out. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you next time. And with all that being said, thank you, Cooper, for burping in the middle of that. Oh my god, my dog burps like a human. I'm gonna have to put that in the bloopers, but...